Well, welcome back everybody to Man Caves and Margaritas.
Happy summer to everybody.
Cheers. We actually have margaritas.
Yeah, well, I think we've only actually done maybe margaritas twice out of all of them.
We've had different cocktails.
Daiquiri, we had a strawberry
Strawberry
daiquiri.
Pina
Colada,
mojito,
and loads of tea.
Yeah.
Loads of cups of tea.
We're British, come on.
Yeah, but it's only 5 in the afternoon and we're already on the margarita.
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Again.
Right, so I'll let you explain to everybody out there what we've watched today, because it was your choice today, wasn't it?
It was my choice, and we're at my place. We're not at the cinema room though, because my Blu-ray player broke, and we haven't been able to find a replacement yet. And today we were watching. What was it called?
So it's called, not to be confused, it's called Arrival, not to be confused with another film which is called The Arrival. So The Arrival has Charlie Sheen in it, and it's, believe it or not, it's another sci-fi film, but that's from like mid-1990s I think. But this one's called Arrival by, I'm sure I won't pronounce it right, but the director's Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve, is that how you say it?
Denis Villeneuve, yeah.
Villeneuve, and it's the first one of his films that I saw before then seeing what he then did later, which was really cool. So he did like he did the Blade Runner sequel. He did Dune, things like that.
Did he do Narco?
I'm not sure actually.
Is it called Narco?
Do you mean the TV show?
No, there was a TV show after the film.
Not sure.
I'm
Don't
not
know.
sure. I'm not sure. Oh no, Sicario.
Oh, he did Sicario. Oh God,
Sicario,
I love that film.
Yeah, brilliant film.
Yeah, well, that would be, in that case then, Sicario would be the first film that I saw that was one of his.
I think that's his
Arrival, wasn't it?
I think that's his first film. Yeah.
So impressive films to have under your belt, really.
Yeah. So we both saw it when it first came out, didn't we? But we couldn't remember barely anything about it.
Not really, no. And I think
I'm not surprised, because it's almost like not a lot actually happens in it, even though it does. But it's a very slow burner.
Slow burn.
There's no action sequences or anything like that.
Not really, no. Bar maybe just one particular bit, but it's really thought that it's really thought provoking. I like all sorts of different science fiction. So you choosing that film today is really cool, because normally when I choose sci-fi, it's normally either horror or action. Do you know what I mean?
This was very philosophical.
Yeah, really thought provoking, and I mean we'll talk a bit more about this in a minute. But like in this current era that we're in, with all the issues that are happening with Ukraine and what we've also seen coming out from COVID as well, made it even more applicable. I thought it made it a bit more current, actually. I thought.
Yeah, I guess so, with the war. Yeah, just the seeming inability for humans to get on,
to work together,
just to work. Yeah, just to get on with it, work together as one, as one race.
Do you want to talk about the story first, or do you want to talk about what you liked about the film first? Because we're going to be here to take it into pieces a little bit, to tell you what I thought it meant, and then to hear what you thought it meant. I
guess before it slips my mind, let's talk about the story, because a few times I thought, right, I know what's going on here, and then I thought, I have no idea what's going on. So it's easy to forget the little slivers of info you think you understand. Yeah. So
correct me if I'm wrong then. Yeah. See if this fits in with what your thought process is too. The way I saw it was, and remember everybody, massive spoilers coming right up. Okay. So the way I see it was, as an individual person, Louise, who's the character played by Amy Adams, who I really like, by the way, I think she's a cracking actress actually.
Really good.
She has this ability, before the aliens even arrive, she has this ability to be able to maybe just see into the future. She's able to see the future, because the first scene we see that she's thinking about or dreaming about is the death of her daughter through cancer, and the life that she's had with her, and it makes you think that that's already happened, and it's not until later that you realise, no, that's going to happen, and it tells us that she has this ability, and the aliens pick up on that fact, and they use her to decipher their language. And in actual fact, every time they use the word weapon, it's not a weapon, it's a gift, and they're gifting our planet this language, because if we're able to really learn and understand this language, it gives us the ability to be able to see into the future, to sort of time travel a bit with the way we are able to think, because they said that we think of time as being linear, but the aliens don't travel in a linear time scale. And the reason that they're doing this is because in another 3,000 years, they're going to come back to us and they're going to need our help, because there's going to be some sort of weird disease or something that's going to happen that is not going to be curable, or something which I'm guessing we're going to be able to help them with. Because they can see into the future, they know that's going to happen. They know that obviously we can help them with that. So they've come to us to say, here you go.
Sorry, that was a fly. I'm not showing off
your
theory of what happened.
Right, that's that then. No. So they're kind of saying it's that win-win scenario. You know, you score a goal and we score a goal. You know, you have this gift from us. It will allow you to become more superior as beings, but more importantly, it will allow you all to become like, you know, stop warring and fighting each other and become more as one, as humankind. And in 3,000 years we'll come back, and then when we want.
So the fact that her daughter dies of cancer, do you think that's like symbolic of like this incurable disease? Why do you say? Were you only guessing that they might have a disease? It could be anything that happens to them.
It could. It's just they said, didn't they? She said, Amy Adams at one point said, there's going to be an incurable or a disease that there's not going to be a cure for. And I can't quite remember in the context she says it. So whether she's saying it, talking about it from the aliens' point of view, or whether she's talking about it from
I think it was
our point
left
of
out.
view.
I think it was left in the open as to why the aliens would need us in 3,000 years. But it might be a metaphor for it. Might be linked in with the fact that her daughter has this incurable disease. But so I agree with everything you said. There is what I thought was happening as well. But I didn't think Amy Adams had an innate ability to manipulate time.
Or see into the future.
Yeah, I think it's because she said when she finally understood the language, it's understanding the language, their language, that gave her the ability. It's understanding the language that gives you the ability to see
into the future.
You don't see into the future, but you can traverse time, and you can envisage time and manipulate it with your brain. Using the language gives you the ability to do that.
That's the power it has.
Yeah. So even though we saw and didn't understand right at the beginning of the film the future, I think it was also entwined in the filmmaking, the fact that she's bouncing around, but because time is flexible and not linear, it can happen at any point.
Right.
I think.
No, I get that point of view as well. So it could have been it was me just assuming that was her thoughts that we were watching at that point, but it didn't necessarily have to be, because the aliens hadn't arrived at that point. So she couldn't do that or have that ability until she started reading the language. That just might.
It is full of paradoxes, though, isn't it? Because she only understood how to read the language
by going into the future.
Because
she's already started to read the language.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of a grasp of the language.
She got it from that, what was it, the palindrome thing.
Yeah.
Hannah is a palindrome. And when she went back and read the language as a palindrome, it made sense. But but that was in the past.
Same red forward, back to front. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
a real paradox.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, we like paradoxes. That's what's really good about sci-fi, because it's like it's that age-old thing, like the Terminator, isn't it?
It's a thought experiment. Why is there snap trying to bite me?
Wearing aftershave? Are you wearing aftershave?
Yeah.
That's why you can tell I'm not then. It's why it's leaving me alone then, isn't it? Yeah, so it's the same, isn't it? Like in the Terminator, where you say, well, had the machines never sent any, had Skynet never sent a T-800 back in time to kill Sarah Connor, if that hadn't happened, Kyle Reese would never have been sent back in time, to stop it, which means they would never have got together, and John Connor would never have been born
in the first place.
Yeah. So it's this real paradox, isn't it?
Real paradox. Yeah.
So really thought provoking. Loved all the stuff about how good to try and make sci-fi really good sci-fi and realistic is to have it really believable in as far as how we react to it. And I think the way that film had us as humans reacting to the event was really, really good. Did you?
Do you mean like the different cultures reacting to it in different ways?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit of a character study about different cultures and the way they perceive things. But, there's always that thing about there's two sides to every story as well, because like it turns out that, when she rang the Chinese Prime Minister, or whatever the leader's called, he was completely open to turning everything around.
Purely because she was able to tell him what his dying wife's last words were. So he would have known that the only way she would have known. But
it was him that implanted that in her in the future.
Yeah, in the future.
Which is like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So he knew that was the only way that he would be convinced. Yeah. So he tells her that so that he knows.
At the award ceremony or whatever, it's the big presentation.
Based on the language that they would now all learn and stuff. So cool. What did you think to the alien design?
I mean, how could you? So what they've done is, they've gone away from the Star Trek view of the universe, whereas an alien's just like looks like a human with odd ears or whatever, what I mean? Or Ridley Scott's Alien, which is like, it looks like an insect or whatever. They've tried to get away from that as far as much as they can, but there's still it's still impossible to. So you imagine like the impossibility of what an alien race might look like. You can't put it on screen. You can't. Can you? You can't.
We can only visualize, can't we, things that we know. Yeah. Or things that we understand, maybe.
So it was like a gigantic hand with the knuckles, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you first see them, you think they're like massive versions of what's it called? The Thing from Addams Family, right? Yeah. Except each finger.
7 fingers.
Yeah,
and the squid tentacle.
Yeah, the squid and the squid thing opens up, and that's how they communicate. By then, these lovely little black spores come out, which then form these things. It's really cool.
So they've done a really good job of trying to create a new concept.
Yeah,
of
originality.
Of what an alien could do in terms of language. That was really good, but in terms of the look. I mean, there's nothing. We're still waiting for a film that portrays aliens in such a bizarre manner that you couldn't possibly imagine that.
See, even we can see that alien, and the first thing we think of is like Cousin It. Yeah. But then when you see it near the end of the film, and then you actually see the alien in its full form, then you realise, oh wow. It's actually really massive, because we only get to see it through this window, don't we? And they're floating in and out of it. I mean, it's so cleverly done, though. I mean, I did really like that whole idea, that whole concept behind what they were and how they kind of like a bit ethereal, weren't they? Really, And it was just
I like really the way
beautiful.
that they had to separate the biomes so that the humans could enter, and then they had you know, they weren't like a lot of times, you know, aliens will land on Earth and just start
Oh,
walking
we're
around.
breathing around. It's so fine. This is
The
not
same gravity,
anything like
you can
my
breathe
planet, but I'm
air,
okay. It's not a problem. Let's put a human on on Mercury. No, they'd be dead the minute they stepped out of a spaceship. Have a plane, out of a
Everything
spaceship.
was done in a realistic manner, wasn't it? The thing I love, I think, if there's one thing I loved most about the movie, which is what I'm always looking for in sci-fi movies, is right at the beginning. So she's you know, she's lecturing why Portuguese is slightly different than the other Romantic languages.
Yeah.
And then in real time, the world starts discovering
Phones start ringing.
that these alien vessels have started like revealing themselves on Earth, and you could just imagine if that happened in real life, like the process of like the realization.
It'd be so scary though, wouldn't it?
It would be absolute.
It really would.
Could you imagine?
I mean, the whole thing about I mean, I don't know about you. I can't believe that the universe, being as vast as it is, doesn't carry other life forms of a higher intelligence even than us. Okay, that sounds very patronising. Even more intelligent than us. We're not that intelligent, really. But I can't believe that maths alone dictates that there are, coincidentally, there must be other planets that have life on them because of the way they're situated and whatever, how life forms, right? Whatever they look like, whatever. So the whole idea that an alien can visit us would have to mean that alien species would have to have technology far, far greater than us to be able to travel those vast distances of space. So please God, if they do, let them be peaceful. Otherwise we're fooked, aren't we? Don't you think?
That's a good point, actually. Like, regarding the film, like if they're, you know, this alien race must be so advanced. How come they haven't worked out how to communicate with us? They like with the knowledge they must have, they could probably have like done it pretty quickly, you know. And it was. It sounds a bit negative now, but like the film was almost portrayed like it's up to us to learn how to communicate with them, this super advanced species. Well, like were they're relying on us to work out how to communicate with them?
Maybe they've invented time travel and being able to travel at light speed, or how to bend, because the idea of their ships, they didn't just go. They kind of just softly disappeared into that white mist, didn't they?
Yeah.
Again, time, linear. So it's kind of suggesting it's time travelling, isn't it, really? Because it just disappears, doesn't it? Right? Maybe they've managed to invent all of that, but they've been so busy doing that, they've been like, oi, Gerald, and yes. Have you finished off doing the light speed?
Gerald?
Yeah, because one was called Abbott, wasn't it? But have you done the light speed yet? Yeah. Yeah, finished light speed. What about the communicators? What do you mean communicators? You know those things we're going to put on our chest and press so we can understand what everyone's teaching.
Oh, the universal translators.
Yeah. Oh no, I've not done that yet. Oh, it's too late.
Sort it out on the way.
Yeah, we'll do it on the way. Yeah.
That's probably exact sequel. We need a sequel now.
So why did your mission fail? After travelling at 100,000 light years across the galaxy, how did your mission fail, Abbott? Didn't do the translator box, did we?
Should have got a little fish they could have put in the ears.
That's the first film I've seen Jeremy Renner in since he had his massive accident. Now, obviously, it's not the first film he's made, but that's the first film I've sat through with him in since he had his really bad accident as well. We were talking about that when that came up, weren't we? And I like him as well as an actor. I think he commands a certain amount of watchability on the screen. I like him.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of superhero stuff, doesn't he? And I don't really like superhero stuff, but like when he's playing a bit more of a considered character, he comes across really well.
Yeah, he does.
It's got a good screen presence. I was going to say, anyone thinking about watching this that hasn't seen it, don't watch it in the middle of the afternoon, because it is a dark, like visually, it's a very dark
Yeah,
film.
you need a dark room.
I don't know if you noticed, when we first started watching it, the sun was out, and it was quite hard to see what was going on for the first 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Clouds came. Did you notice as well?
Yeah, I saw that. And also the other thing is drop the bass on any of your sound.
Oh my God.
In the first half an hour, there's lots of helicopter action, isn't it? And the bass, I mean, it sounded fantastic. You couldn't quite hear, could you, what some of the people were saying? The bass sound of the helicopters.
I had to drop the bass down so we could hear what they were saying. But talking about audio, the music.
Do you know what it's making me, watching that and hearing that score is making me think. I think I've underappreciated the score in his other films. You know, I want to watch those other films we talked about and really listen to the music he's chosen for those, because I can't believe he'd do a bad job on any of the others, because the score is incredible.
I did watch, I rewatched Blade Runner last year, but
2049, his one, yeah.
Beautiful score. I would like to rewatch Dune, because I don't think I think I took it for granted when I was.
I loved the the second one's coming out soon as well. I think, isn't it? So maybe that's definitely worth a rewatch before going into the cinema.
Talking about his films, wasn't it? Amy Adams was in Sicarios, wasn't she? Was it?
No, it's Emily Blunt, wasn't it?
Oh yes, you're right.
I didn't know he'd done that, and that's really great film.
You can see his framing and his filmmaking and his aesthetic in all his films. You know. Even June,
he films it and makes it feel. He just makes you feel like you're there with them. It's
very naturalistic lighting,
Yeah, very natural, not gimmicky.
No, really nice shots.
Follows the characters around a lot.
Not loads of cutting. In fact, one thing I thought about it when we was watching. It's like one thing I like about this considered pace that he's got. Is that not everyone's not talking all the time, like dialogue, action, and me and you, without irritating each other, could talk while we're actually watching the film, because there's so many gaps.
Yeah, there's lots of quiet moments.
Yeah, so many spaces, and not like we were, spoiling it for each other, talking all the time. But sometimes you might want to say something during the film, but you don't get a chance because it's just constant action and talking, and you don't get an opportunity to just. Murmur a sentence to each other.
Yeah.
It's a very, very well considered, very well paced.
A really strong drama, sci-fi drama.
It's very artistically done as well.
Very artistically done, beautifully filmed, great score, really thought-provoking. It's
got these weird things when they do the flashbacks, when, we thought she was dreaming, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it's filmed in a very dreamlike manner. It's like loads of out of focus bits, tilted angles, and things like that. And it almost filmed like some kind of trendy student Sundance type of film. I actually forgot my point here. What I was going to say.
Let me just say on behalf of us both, we love trendy students, though, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Love them.
Well, we used.
We work. Well, I don't think I'd ever call myself trendy, but. Student maybe, but I'd never call myself trendy.
Student of the game. We're students of the game.
Yes, I know what you mean. To separate, now that once you know that they're not flashbacks, then when she goes into that imagery again, it's more apparent, isn't it, that he's done it with, as I say, with a softer filter, and it's just a bit different,
Yeah, really, really well. Really
good. Really, really good. I was thinking of something else I really liked as a concept idea. Oh, I know what it was. Instead of like you say in a lot of in a lot of sci-fi films, a spaceship lands and some sort of door will open and a ramp will drop down, won't they? Whereas they thought about this in as far as that they've created their own sort of internal gravity inside the ship. So they go up on this I don't know what you call it.
Cherry picker.
Cherry picker, that's right. They go up. I'm impressed you got that straight off the bat. You picked many cherries.
I don't know why I know that, but I know that. Maybe I've been darting around through time picking up.
Maybe in the future you are a cherry picker. You've learned that language, because we've both learned that language now. Yeah. And maybe now, it's a paradox, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, they go up in a cherry picker up inside this hole in the spaceship, and then they get to a point where they can just about sort of like lift off a little bit from the cherry picker, like a little bit of gravity's gone, and then they push themselves off, and then they're standing and able to walk normal up to. Is it really cool? You know,
like gravity's been flicked 90 degrees.
Yeah,
it's such a great concept.
I
wonder who wrote it. I wonder if Denis Villeneuve wrote it.
Do you think that came from I don't know if that came from a script or whether that came from a book and then turned into a script, actually.
Let us know in the comments if you know.
Yeah, if you know, drop us a message. Yeah. It would be nice to have a comment on one of these videos, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, we keep on getting random comments on a, like, I can't remember his name, but there's someone who comments on all our videos. And usually it's like, oh God, it took me ages to get around to watching this one. Is that one of your friends?
Yes, it is. It's Max, I think. Yeah, it's Smashing Lad.
Hello, Max.
Hello, Max. Smashing Lad. Really into his films as well. And yeah, it's nice because he'll listen to one of these and he might have some of his other ideas. And he's very honest with me as well about what he thinks too. And I like that. This is what this is all about. It's about sort of watching what we've. But if you've not seen a film, like from Max's point of view, he'll not watch one of these until he's seen the film now. But then when he's watched the film, he can watch what we think. And it's really nice to have like somebody else, a third person's opinion on it, and getting to talk to him about it as well. You know,
yeah, that is good.
The beauty of film is that it's not everyone's cup of tea. But just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's not interesting to find out why.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a bad film. It's just not your thing.
No. I mean, I'm thinking of picking for my next film. I'm thinking of picking like a bit of a guilty pleasure for me,
right? Which
is a film that I know. I'm going to pick a film that I like that I know not a lot of people like, and I'm going to see if it's a film that you haven't seen yet and see what you think. And it'd be interesting to see because, like you say, at the moment we seem to be picking some films that we both just keep enjoying, and it's not because we're trying to do it that way. It just so happens that. That's how it's worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, you picked a film today that I've not seen since it first came out, and I couldn't remember much about that. Only bits, you know.
All I could really remember was it was Thinking Man Sci-Fi, and it's beautifully done.
Sci-fi.
It's yeah, I really highly recommend it to anyone that is prepared to pay attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
to what's unraveling in front of them.
Yeah, like you say, you don't watch it if you're tired. Because you gotta have your brain in gear.
Yeah, you'll fall asleep.
You gotta have your brain in gear. But it does get exciting. I mean, it does get exciting.
It has its moments.
It certainly has its moments, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does. I won't spoil it too much because you know, but definitely watch it and see what you think. Yeah. So good call, I reckon. Right.
Round yours next then.
Round mine next. I'm just thinking how I'm going to score that one, to be honest.
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure, round mine. Hey.
Oh,
I know. Bring your teddy. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Want to bring a teddy bear for?
No, not your teddy bear, Dwyz.
Oh, you mean like a onesie?
No, a teddy is like a lace. It's like a lingerie number that you'd wear. You know, have you not heard the expression? Yeah, I'm sure
I just assumed you were going down that route.
Well, anyway, guilty pleasures. Right, scores on the doors then, right? Okay. So I think it was very well put together. I like the director. I like the score. As you can already tell, I like the thought-provokingness of it. I want to now go onto the internet because I want to now think. I want to look into it more now so that I want to see if I've understood it really, really well.
Yeah.
I want to do that. So I'm going to give that, and this isn't a negative, this is a positive. I'm going to give that 7.5 out of 10 for me. Okay?
Yeah.
Only because there are moments in it where I was feeling a little bit tired at the start and I could feel myself going slightly.
I do think it finishes stronger than...
It brought me round, yeah. It's the middle section, I thought, actually. It's about well, if you break it into thirds, it's the end of the first third. I just started to lose it a little bit there, but then it brought me back in, and then boy, when it does, it's really cool. And yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's good if you like sci-fi, and if you like your sci-fi to feel realistic as well. Definitely give that a go. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it is sci-fi, but it's not got any sci-fi tropes. You know, we're not flying around in space or shooting aliens or anything like that. It's like a thinking man's sci-fi. I would agree with you that there is a lull in the middle. So if you're aware of that, stick with it, because it does pick back up again. I mean, I love it. I think if you're a student of the game, you should definitely give it a go.
Yeah.
Knowing that it is a slow, thoughtful burner of a film.
Do you like, the question I would ask somebody if they said, should I watch it? I'd say to them, well, look, do you like things like Black Mirror and stuff like that, where the sci-fi is prevalent and it's only just around the corner?
Do you think it's similar in any way to Interstellar?
That's definitely a thinking man's sci-fi, yeah. In that respect, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. That would, if you, thinking of two similar sort of thinking men's films, yeah, definitely. That's a good. That's much better than my suggestion of Black Mirror, actually. Although Black Mirror is a great way of thinking. That's a thinking man's type sort of future. Although, have you seen the latest season?
Black Mirror is about like based on twists, aren't they?
Yeah, twist, sci-fi twist. Have you seen the latest? I won't spoil Black Mirror for anybody, but I've seen
the first 2 episodes.
Because some of them are actually set in the past with future topics and stuff, aren't they? Hello, Claire. This is Claire.
I tried to wait there until you stopped talking, but
That's
I soon
okay.
realised that would never happen.
Well, okay, thank you, Claire.
Thanks for your input.
So, anyway, on to the next one then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Well, we've had a little break over the start of summer, haven't we? But we'll get a few in over the summer. And,
we did, yeah.
And carry on having fun doing it.
I know. I'm hoping before the next one, I'm hoping to have seen the latest Indiana Jones film. That's the one I'm looking forward to seeing the most at the moment. Have you got anything on the agenda?
I went to see Spider-Verse.
Lauren
and Simon. Oh yeah, great.
Is it?
Absolutely fantastic.
As good as the first?
Yeah, I preferred the first because the second one's a bit full on. It's like watching a kid's music video for 2 hours. It's like bang, bang, bang. It's like, wow, it never
really
stops.
Full on, right?
But it's still very, very good. It's a very, very good. Very stylised. The animation is insane. So I think. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll watch that, and then I'll hopefully be able to tell you what Indiana.
I'm not going to watch Indiana Jones. That looks disgraceful. It's a disgrace.
On that note, everybody, dun 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 dun.